Here we go, y'all. Game 4, Tuesday night, Oracle Arena. Houston hanging on to a prayer in this series as the chef got right in Game 3 Sunday evening. And right away, the Warriors came out the gate as you would expect at home, feeling it from downtown on a 12-0 run to start this game. I think they thought if they could hit him with a big enough punch early on, maybe you would see the Houston of old folding early on. You see Harden with the steal, and look at him hesitate. Never would he be as wide open as that. He passes up the wide open three. So things off a little bit for Houston to start. The question also was, would Steph pick up where he left off in Game 3? You see him still getting to the hoop, the and one scoop in the corner. And it was all Golden State early, but hey, maybe this ain't the same old Rockets team. Let's give them some credit for weathering the early storm at Oracle Arena. James hits the step back three. Now you're gonna see Looney switch down on Harden, who got the start for the missing Andre Iguodala. He lets him get left, and Draymond gets a Kardashian-style facial at the rim. Just messy and full of oohs and ahs. Even in someone else's house. Take another look at it. That was a lot to digest. Maybe you want to rewind that. Despite what Mike D'Antoni said going into this, we knew this game was more important for the Rockets, and as the game went on, they played like it. CP3, 5 of 9 from downtown. How difficult is the look-off pass into the three? And then it is Northern California. We did see a Bigfoot. No, we saw James Harden play defense. Look at him pick Durant's pocket and go coast to coast. He had several defensive sequences where he really just showed up again. Houston, everything on the line. The walk-up three in Swaggy's face as Houston went on a huge run to close the half. This game was ultimately about defense, though. Look at PJ Tucker, 44 minutes, 16 rebounds, and putting the clampers on the chef on his own court here. They will not even get a look headed to the locker room. So initially, Golden State came out with a huge punch to start the game. Houston threw theirs in the second quarter. It was Golden State's turn in the third quarter. You know who was going to do it. This man, 30 from 30. Capella continues to talk his trash through the media, and Steph makes him pay, like, careful what you ask for. And he went on a 9-point barrage midway through this third quarter that got Golden State rolling. Now Harden takes his turn. Look at the little gallop hezzy, freezing the defender at the rim. Curry, his normal third quarter, off some scrambling loose balls, another one. And all of a sudden, Golden State finds themselves back up double digits, headed into the fourth quarter. Again, no Iguodala, but you got S dot for your head top. Capella, watch yourself. No call for the and one as Houston shot 27 free throws to Golden State's 14. Here we go, KD, crossover, finds Draymond, and he gets roofed by the rim. As the Warriors continued to fail to execute easy plays throughout this game, would it eventually cost them down the stretch as Houston made their run? I want to give Chris Paul credit. He carried them and hit a lot of tough shots down the stretch as Harden was really nowhere to be found. That's perfect defense. At the shot clock buzzer, knocks down the three. Now here's a misplay from Golden State. Draymond caught in no man's land, and they yield the spot. The only place Ariza wants to shoot on the floor is that corner three, and he gets one late in the game. All of a sudden, Houston has the lead again. They kick it out, and Eric Gordon was big all night for them, especially early on when the rest of the Rockets were struggling. Gordon really ignited them, and Houston has the lead. Now here we go. Kerr lets them push to see what they have in transition. Down 10 seconds left. KD passes to Clay. He seems to get trapped here. Remember, lack of mobility in the corner, and he gets this up. Now there's a foul. Sean Livingston over the back on Chris Paul. Houston with the premature celebration, but you take a look at Clay, not the shot you want with 10 seconds left, especially considering he was hobbled through most of this game. So here we go, 0.5 seconds left, and Chris Paul is gonna miss one of these free throws. So Golden State, Steve Kerr drawing up a play that he probably should have drawn up on the play before, because look, they get a clean look. Curry, not sure he gets it off, but it doesn't matter because it comes up short, and the Rockets have tied this series at 2-2. Hey, y'all need to go get that boom. Called it, man. Oh, it's really like gambling without risk. And what you're doing is you're picking live games, and as long as you're picking winners, your points are ranking up. Now, the top 20 each week get a cash payout. But there's a special competition going on right now. The first person to 1,000 points in a week, that's $1,000 cash in your pocket. All right, y'all. 2-2, series tied up, heading back to Houston. Now, we can talk about Andre Iguodala missing this game. We can talk about Klay Thompson injuring the knee and clearly was limited in his movement. We can talk about the Houston Rockets and their hunger and intensity that they came out with on the road. But ultimately, the Warriors choked this game away. Let's just keep it a buck. They choked this game away. The Rockets didn't play so good that they beat the Warriors. The Warriors beat themselves tonight. 16 turnovers, so many of them unforced, so many boneheaded plays. I could give you a list of them, and I will, Patreons. I will give you that list tomorrow. I'll break down all the errors. Even in the first quarter, specifically, there were some plays. The first turnover that Steph had where Draymond wasn't looking and it gave them a layup after that they couldn't score a basket. I think it was 12-0. And then it just started to pile up. And it was a game of runs, obviously a back and forth. But we end up somehow, some way, going into the fourth quarter with like a 10-point lead, something like that. And then they choked it away. And shout out Jordan Bell for playing well in the hustle. Looney looked like he got chipped up. It looks like this may turn into a war of attrition because, I'm concerned with Klay's mobility and obviously Andre Iguodala. We missed him clearly as a ball handler and as a decision maker. KD, it's funny because I was on Twitter in the final, 90 seconds of the game, and I said, we go to KD here. I'm going to KD. And everybody was like, you're wilding. And, he played terrible. And he did relatively, right? His shot selection was poor. He seemed to be off balance all night long, right? But if you look at the box score, him and Steph had like pretty much the same stats, 27, 28 points on like 39% shooting or something like that. And the reason why I say go to KD late there is because when it gets super physical and over aggressive and they're playing the passing lanes and stuff like that, that's what we went and got Kevin Durant for. When it bogs down and they're stopping everything's on the line and their defense is as tight as it can get, that's when you use the 7-foot Slim Reaper. And that's why I felt like that's who I would have went to. Not necessarily to take the shot, but I would have initiated the offense through him because I thought it would have generated the best look. But that it doesn't matter here. Now, I know this is going to be talked about for the next 48 hours all over the place. I cannot fucking believe Steve Kerr for not calling that timeout. I can't believe it. I don't know if this may cost the Warriors season right here. Let me be clear here. Steve Kerr not calling a timeout, and it obviously we'll never know what happened, but you could circle this as maybe the point where this is what cost us not winning back-to-back championships. And I do not scold him for not calling a timeout on the rebound. No. I understand that. You push it and you see what you can get. But when Klay Thompson on one leg is trapped in no man's land with 4 or 5 seconds left in the game, you fucking call a timeout, Steve Kerr. You call it. It's just that simple. And so there's plenty of blame to be placed everywhere, right? But ultimately, Houston executed down the stretch, and you got to give them credit for believing and not folding after several runs. But I'll say it like I said in the beginning of this video. I don't think Houston beat us. I think the Warriors choked. I guess it's fitting that Reggie Miller was calling the game because he's very familiar with choking. And so he had a courtside seat to it. I'm sure he could tell you that was a choke job. Because all of a sudden, the final 3 minutes where they missed their final 8 3-pointers, it seemed like no one really wanted to take the shot. Right? KD's passing up mid-range shots in his money spot and Steph not really gaining the separation. And how many times can the Warriors get dislodged? If you're the receiver of the pass, how many times can you get dislodged from the defense and allow them to get a finger on the ball? It happened all night long. So Houston deserved to win this game, and they won this game. So I don't want to get, over emotional. I guess it's kind of too late for that, right? So we head into Game 5 into Houston Thursday. And, now at this point, it looks like this series is going to go 7 games. And I talked about a war of attrition. What is Andre Iguodala's knee going to look like? How much can he help us? How is Klay going to feel tomorrow after coming back out? And I want to shout out Klay, man, because he's a soldier for that one. I was obviously super concerned. It looked bad. And then he came out and he contributed the best he could. But Steve Kerr also, just to bring back that moment, you've got to understand. Remember there was the pass, KD, one of his bad turnovers where he ripped it down, who Klay was running through in transition. That you have to understand how Klay was feeling. He was out there giving it his all, but he wasn't looking to finish at the rim, and he wasn't particularly looking to be a focal point on offense, considering it looked like he was playing on one leg. And so all the more reason for Kerr to use that timeout, man. I've hopped on this camera right after the game, so I haven't heard any of the press conference or any of that stuff. I hope he claims that air, man, because there's no fucking excuse. Again, I understand pushing the ball and seeing what you can get before Houston can set up. But once Klay was stuck in no man's land, trapped, ask Chris Webber, ask C. Webb, call that timeout. So, hey man, this is what it's about though. This takes us back really to, the Cleveland series in 16 or the OKC series, the round before that. We've seen them respond to adversity, but it was just in the fashion they lost it. I think they blew it. And so we'll see, man. It's anybody's series at this point, especially considering the health of Klay Thompson and Andre Iguodala. Until Game 5, y'all, hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.